Hello there, good morning and welcome to the news at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 and Hits 103.9 FM in Accra, in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM, Facebook live stream, and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Kalio FM 107.3 Akachi, Radio Max 105.1 FM Takrady, and Ridge 104.9 FM Tamale. Get radio, TV, and online content on the myjoyonline.com interactive app for Android and iOS devices. Coming up, illegal miners take over close to 1,000 hectares of farmlands at Ofuase in the Asante-Achim South Municipality, polluting the river Enuru.
But I say no.
Government's delegation heads to China for talks over Ghana's debt cancellation proposal as part of restructuring its external debts.
As to how China will comport themselves in that for comparability of treatment, because China wants to do a bilateral. We will be visiting China at the end of the week.
Also coming up, joint group of some transport operators declare their support for the candidature of former President John Mahama, calling on other contestants in the upcoming NDC flag bearer elections to step down.
We are pleading to all the candidates to step down and live for only John Mahama.
We are pleading him to go for the forms. That's why we brought the petition to him.
And a bit later in business.
Banks operating in Ghana wrote off about 5.9 billion cedis as bad debt last year. There's more to share on the Joy Business Report.
Plus, the banknote redesign crisis as Nigeria prepares to go to the polls in just 4 days.
This is my money and I can't get it out. I can't withdraw and then I can't do transactions. Just a few days to the election. We don't know how this is going to play out.
These and more here on the news at 6 with me, Mamavi Owusu-Aboagye. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. Now, illegal miners have taken over close to 1,000 hectares of farmlands at Ofuase in the Asante-Achim South Municipality, polluting the river Enuru, the only water source in the area. But local authorities say they are overwhelmed and cannot do much in the face of emboldened local citizens and foreigners using champagne machines to pollute the river. But former MP for Asante-Achim South and board chair of the Middle Belt Development Authority, Alex Cranche, who led journalists there, accused local authorities of doing little to stop the distraction. Lava Firm's Erastus Asari Donko led a team to Ofuase and now reports.
Residents of Ofuase are mainly farmers, growing cocoa, rice and vegetables. The river Enuru has been a lifeline to agriculture here. But illegal mining has changed the fortunes of the people. The river, our only source of water, is highly polluted. So we have to hire motorbikes to fetch water from the house to the farm to tend to our crops. Over 1,000 hectares of farmland has been turned into pits and gullies. The course of the river Enuru has been changed and the water highly polluted.
So we are very close to the sound of champagne sitting on the river, and we are snooping in on them to find out who is there.
We tracked the sound of champagne equipment to another part of the Enuru River. Isaiah is not from Ofuase. He hails from Ashaman in Accra. He and his friends are leaking engine oil and other pollutants into the Enuru River. But he remains indifferent.
But I say no.
I know all this pollutes the river, what we are doing here. I cannot say I don't feel bad about it.
And that's Love Firm's Erastus Asaridonko with that report. Now, a high-powered government delegation will visit China next week to convince authorities there to accept Ghana's proposal for debt cancellation with the Paris Club. It is part of government's restructuring of its external debts. Ghana is hoping to restructure some 5.7 billion, with China holding a third of it, amounting to $1.7 billion. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, who is leading the delegation, told a German minister for Economic Cooperation and Development that China has committed to a bilateral negotiation, and he is hopeful a deal can be reached to enable Ghana present a case before the IMF board.
That would happen quickly. The big elephant in the room, of course, is China, as to how China will comport themselves in that for comparability of treatment, because China wants to do a bilateral. We will be visiting China at the end of the week to really discuss how they come into the envelope.
Meanwhile, the German Federal Minister for Economic Cooperation, Venja Schulz, says her country will assist Ghana to get fair treatment at the Paris Club.
Our journey here is about two big topics. It is the economic cooperation. You know that we have adopted the Act on Corporate Due Diligence in Supply Chains. That is what my colleague will deepen, that we want to know how that goes on here in Ghana, because we know you do a lot. You get really steps forward in all your work here, and we want now to know, does our Act on Corporate Due Diligence.
Elsewhere, President Akufo-Addo has reiterated Ghana's non-aligned stance against the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, but added the country is opposed to the war.
We were one of the founders of the non-aligned movement. All of that has always been consistently to resist the idea that the big powers of the world have the freedom to do what they like on this planet. Never accepted that principle, whether it is Americans or Russians or Germans or French people or whatever. And it is the reason why we have expressed our displeasure at what has happened with the invasion of Ukraine. And it is very much part of the history of our country.
That's President Akufo-Addo there. Now, a group made up of motorcycle operators, spare part dealers, and some driver unions have declared their support for former President John Mahama in the upcoming flag bearer race of the NDC. According to the group, the state of the economy needs a leader who has a track record of development and capable of solving the current excruciating economic crisis in the country. They believe John Mahama stands tall and wants other candidates to step down and allow him to go unopposed. They have therefore mobilized funds to purchase a nomination form for him to contest the elections. Let's listen to some of them.
Former President John Dramani Mahama tell us that in 2020, when we win the election, he will legalize the Okada. You know, if we win. But believe everything by God. But we believe in 2024, your mama should be in president. But we are pleading your mama to come out and pick the form. And we are pleading to all the candidates to step down and live for only John Mahama.
We are pleading him to go for the forms. That's why we brought the petition to him and some little to go for the forms.
Well, the office of the former president has meanwhile indicated its readiness to ensure the basic needs of Ghanaians are addressed if given the nod to govern the country. Here's former Chief of Staff Julius Deborah.
Whether he's going to agree to run or not, he wants you to understand that his philosophy of governance is about listening to the people. It doesn't necessarily matter about your status in society. President Mahama is never going to be listening to, oh, this is a professor, this is a doctor, this is a graduate. No, we are all Ghanaians. And per our traditional adage, we've been made to believe that no single person is a repository of wisdom. Therefore, if you are leading a group of people, you must always be prepared to listen to the views and opinion of the people you are leading.
And that's a former Chief of Staff there, Julius Deborah. Let's head to Nigeria now, where at least 8 Nigerian police officers have been killed in separate attacks by suspected rebels in the country's southeast, just days ahead of presidential elections. The killings come as more than 90 million people are registered to vote this Saturday to elect a successor to Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, who's stepping down after 2 terms in office. Meanwhile, the country continues to face a banknote swap crisis, with many unable to access their cash from the banks. Kayla Megwa is with our partners, Channels TV.
First of all, there are many people who are unbanked. There's too much cash transaction. There's a lot of money being hoarded. There's speculations about people hoarding all of this money so they can use it to rig election or buy votes during the elections. And then it's also opened up the fact that the banking infrastructure that is necessary to go cashless in Nigeria probably doesn't exist. We are seeing that failure even from the biggest banks. This is my money and I can't get it out. I can't withdraw and then I can't do transactions. Just a few days to the election, we don't know how this is going to play out.
And that's Kayla Megwa. She's with our partners, Channels TV in Nigeria, reporting for us there. And that's how we end the news at 6. Our top story, the ZAR illegal miners take over close to 1,000 hectares of farmlands at Ofuase in the Asante Achim South Municipality, polluting the river Enuro. Log on to my Joy Online